Today, I'm going to tell you why I think these Volcas are awesome. Freebeat. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Today's patron shoutout goes to Nobu. Thank you so much for the support. Let's get started. So today I want to talk about the Korg Volcas, and the Volca Keys and the Volca Drum specifically. Now, the inspiration for this video is because I noticed that Korg is actually doing a promotion this month, where if you buy a Volca from an authorized Korg retailer, you get actually entered into a contest to win a Korg Modwave, which is a very powerful wavetable synthesizer, so super cool. Unfortunately, the promotion is only in the United States, which is kind of a bummer. Maybe they'll do something, hopefully, a little more global in the future, but yeah, I saw that promotion, figured it would be a good time to talk about the two Volcas that I own, and why I love each of them individually. So first up is the Volca Keys. This is a true analog synthesizer. It technically has 3-voice polyphony, but only in one mode, and it's more paraphonic because those voices actually share the same filter and envelope, so you'll hear the sound reset every time I play it. But that's okay because it has a whole bunch of different monophonic modes that are pretty killer. Yeah, great sound. It's a pretty simple analog synth, but because of that, Korg gives you almost every function just on the front with its own dedicated knob. So you have a knob to change between your octaves. You have a knob to change between your oscillator type, so polyphonic, unison, octave, fifth, unison ring, and polyring. Then you have a section here for your oscillator, so you have your detune, your portamento, your envelope intensity for the pitch of the oscillator, so how much your envelope affects the pitch, of the the oscillator playing. You got a filter section here with cutoff, peak, as well as, again, an envelope intensity for the filter. Super cool. The filter can get kind of steppy when you crank the peak or resonance, but as long as you don't completely max it, it should be okay. In fact, it sounds pretty sweet in there. And by the way, this is all analog circuitry, so very cool. Then we do have the LFO section, with really only two destinations. However, it can affect both of them at the same time. Filter cutoff and the pitch intensity, as well as a rate knob. We also have a couple shortcuts down here to change the LFO wave shape between saw, triangle, and square, as well as a trigger sync function that basically allows the LFO to re-trigger every time we press a key. And then there is the envelope section with attack, decay, and release on one knob, and then another knob for sustain. I would have liked to see separate knobs for decay and release, but it's a very budget piece of gear. By the way, $150 US, I believe, is the retail right now. Looks like they're going for about $169 or so US, but still a good deal for everything you get in here. We also have a basic delay effect, which is nice. Time and feedback controls. Cool. Tempo knob, volume knob, and then a built-in little step sequencer, which is also pretty cool. That was pretty awful, but I didn't even use the built-in metronome to record with. There's also some other functions for the sequencer as well, including motion sequencing or parameter recording. So any of the clear knobs, you can actually record the parameters into the sequence, which is really cool. It's also got sync in and out for pocket operators and other pieces of gear, and a MIDI in, so you can play the keys with an actual keyboard, which, as you can probably tell from this demo, I highly recommend because the little strip keyboard thing is hard to play. Now, why is the keys so awesome? Well, it's just a very basic analog synthesizer. So if you are looking for just those basic analog sounds, the Volca Keys might be all you need. I've actually got a video about that on the channel. So while this does cater towards someone who might be, more on the beginner side of their electronic music journey, maybe picking up their first analog synth, it was my first analog synth, Even if you're more experienced, sometimes it can be nice to just have something that you plug in, and you just get that sound right there, that classic like saw wave. That nice lead, or you can drop it down. A little bit of detune. Crank up your LFO. You've got a pretty mean bass. So yeah, that's why the Volca Keys is awesome in my opinion. Such an affordable piece of gear that really just gives you that classic analog sound. And, when I first got it, I was a little bit underwhelmed by it because I thought I explored all it could do pretty quickly. But no, there are a lot of sweet spots with these knobs, and you can have a ton of fun designing really whatever you want with this thing. It can get pretty wild. See what I mean? So yeah, Volca Keys, highly recommend it. Fantastic analog synthesizer for someone just getting started or someone who wants just a bare bones, no frills, analog saw wave sound. Next up is the Korg Volca Drum. Also, I should mention that this video is in no way, shape, or form sponsored by Korg. I paid for both of these Volcas with my own money. Yeah, I just wanted to make this video because I love the Volcas, and I want someone to win a mod wave. So yeah, this is a digital drum machine, or digital percussion synthesizer, as Korg says. You'll notice some of the features here are the exact same as on the Volca Keys, so we still have MIDI in, sync in and out, we still have a sequencer built in. However, this is a digital drum machine. Now, programming this thing can be kind of weird, and I'm not really going to show it off in this video. Just know that the number of sounds you can get out of the Volca Drum are insane. There are, like, hour-long tutorials on YouTube just going into, like, the basics on the Volca Drum. There are a lot of parameters to work with. One of my favorite parts about the Volca Drum is the waveguide resonator. Basically, you can send any of the 6 different drum kit parts to this waveguide resonator that kind of acts as a delay, and it has 2 different modes. There's a tube and a string mode. So just take a listen to. Well, let's send this hi-hat to it. See, just by playing around with a few controls, you can get some pretty crazy sounding stuff. Here we are in string mode now. You could totally sample this sound right here and use it as a pitched synth. And what's awesome is, like the Volca Keys, all of the clear knobs are automatable. So in our sequence, we could actually automate the waveguide itself or the send on the individual part to the waveguide. Really cool, really powerful. One more feature that I also like is the ability to randomize your sound. So for instance, let's take this hi-hat here. I'm gonna hold function, press layer, which randomizes it. Now we have a completely different sound. Like, what is that? The sound design capabilities are insane on this thing, especially given the fact that it's the same price as the Volca Keys. I'm seeing these go for about $169 US right now. What's cool too is when you sequence something, you can actually randomize the pattern as well. So you can really get some fun inspirational stuff just by letting the machine itself randomly generate patterns and sounds for you, then go ahead and sample those, and you're off and running. And that, I think, is what makes the Volca Drum very appealing, even to someone who has a ton of experience with electronic music. All the sounds this thing can crank out are completely wild. So I think the Volca Drum is perfect for sampling, because you can go in and do some crazy sound design and then sample those and take them into bigger projects, thus making the Volca Drum, like I said, appeal to just about anybody out there who enjoys working with samples and things like that. You could even design some sounds on the Volca Drum, sample them, and then import them into the Korg Volca sample, which I don't have, but would be a pretty fun little project. See what you could come up with. And like I mentioned, the Volca Drum does have a sequencer, so of course I just randomized like everything, so it sounds pretty wild, but you can make some, pretty generic sounding drums as well, with some fun kits. Here, let's actually load into a different kit. Yeah, you get 6 parts per kit, and once again, like on the Volca Keys, I do recommend having some sort of external controller. While you don't have to actually play, a keyboard, you do have to be able to trigger these little pads individually. They're not even really pads, they're just kind of flat on this touch strip. But yeah, definitely recommend a controller for this one. So there you have it. That's why I think the Volca Keys and the Volca Drum are both completely awesome devices. Highly recommend both of them. Like I said, the Volca Keys is more oriented towards beginners, I'd say, or someone who just wants a very simplified analog, saw wave sound. So if that's not your speed, I promise if you pick up the Volca Drum and you're, even remotely into sampling, you'll be able to come up with some really cool stuff. And I'm sure you can come up with some pretty cool drum racks like an Ableton, or the Volca Drum with a dig attack, I think would be a really fun way to work, or even the circuit tracks. I think anything with onboard sampling would be a great partner for the Volca Drum. Your sound design capabilities are basically endless, and it's so much fun. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not, but you can even come up with like synth stuff on the Volca Drum as well. Some really nice pitched sounds. It does have the ability to edit pitches scaled to the Western music scale, which is really cool. So there you have it. That's why both synths are awesome. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you plan on picking up a Volca this month. If you do, be sure to click the link in the description. Again, not sponsored, but I just want one of my subscribers to win a mod wave. I think that'd be pretty sweet. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.